Well, welcome everybody to Scottish Ballet's first ever Digital Friends and Patrons event. I am Head of Philanthropy, Antonia Brownlee, for those that don't know me. We're delighted to host you all online this afternoon. We know it's not the same as seeing you in person, and we're really missing your presence at Tramway and in the theatre, and hope one day in the not too distant future, we will be able to perform live again with you in the audience. This afternoon, we are delighted to have principal dancer Bethany Kingsley-Garner to tell us more about what it's like to be working from home. Just how is she keeping active and staying creative? Beth started her career at the Royal Ballet School before joining Scottish Ballet as an artist in 2007, quickly rising through the ranks when she was promoted as a principal on stage after a performance of Swan Lake in 2016. Now, I have a few questions to start the conversation with Beth, but I know that you'll be dying to ask her questions of your own. So I probably should let you know that neither Beth nor I can see or hear you. Don't take any offence. But if you have any questions you'd like to ask Beth, please just write them in the question and answer column, which is at the bottom of your screen, or it should be, and you can do this anonymously as well. We'll try and address as many of these as we can towards the end, or if anything comes up, then Beth will answer them at the time. And during the webinar, a few polls will appear on your screen, just asking your opinions on a couple of things and what you're up to. If you'd like to answer these, please do, and if you don't, just close them down. So, without further ado, let me introduce Bethany. Welcome, Bethany, to our first Friends and Sporters event online.
Hello, hello everyone as well, giving you a big virtual wave and hug.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, and it's lovely to be able to do this because normally we would be doing these either before performance, after performance, checking in with you all and seeing how you're all doing. So this is really nice, and welcome to my studio from my home in Glasgow.
Well, I'd love to hear if you could tell us a little bit more about how your life has changed. So take, 23rd of March, what you were doing before then at Scottish Ballet and what life is like for you now. And maybe you could talk us through your home studio as you've described it.
Yes. So my working hours have changed a lot. I don't now need to walk into work for starts. Our classes, we still do every day at the same time, but they are very, very different to what we would normally do in our huge, beautiful studios at Tramway. So we still start at the bar, and I use my chair for this, which is just my dining room table chair. And we all do our class on our piece of dance floor. And this is really, really important because point shoes aren't made for dancing on concrete, for dancing on varnished floors. They are made for a specific type of floor where you can turn, the satin doesn't rip. They support your body and the structure. So this stage was actually, I believe, part of the Hansel and Gretel performances, and I do think I know that because there is a little bit of dried marshmallow I have on mine, which is probably mine from when I did Gretel and I had a food fight. So I just love that already, that each day I'm performing and doing my class on a bit of my stage. So here it is, and Pixie is very kindly modelling it for you there.
Hello, Pixie.
So that is my dance floor. And what I do is I set my chair on my yoga mat so it doesn't slip there. And then, so you will be like my ballet master, okay? And I will take class with you like this and accompany every day on this floor. So we've managed to work out we can do about 2 or 3 chaînés from side to side. So I can probably do 2 this side.
Yeah.
So I'll move that back now so you can see me. So that's how class has changed. Then, of course, how do you jump in places where not everyone is on the ground floor? So I did make sure I sent a little note to my neighbours downstairs saying, this time's the day I will be jumping around. And my husband is also a personal trainer, so he also jumps around at certain points. So we've managed to share the space and adapt that. So that's just how class has changed, and I'm missing everyone so much, and realizing that I'm not great at picking up the exercises when you don't have other people to watch. That is another thing.
Did it take a long time to get used to having a Zoom class for daily class?
Yes, it took a very long time to. It was hard as well to see maybe our beautiful studios at Tramway and kind of be doing a class in here and wanting to be there and move around. But now I love it. It is my bread and butter. It's what I do every day. So the fact that I can still have that connection with my staff, with my pianists, like we still have Brian playing our music. I mean, Scottish Ballet has done an incredible job to still keep us so far that feeling of connected with our extended family.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm so pleased to hear that. So once you've done your hour of ballet class in the morning, what happens at home for you for the rest of the day? Because I imagine you're not going to stop at that point. You're going to do more exercise, find other ways to keep yourself busy.
So I then carry on and maybe want to do a bit more extra point work. So for me, that's just putting on some lovely music and doing what I can on the floor. It just rises up and down, doing a little bit of a solo. I did try some fretto turns the other day, and forte turns are the ones which keep going. They're kind of the famous ones. And nothing fell. All the pictures are still up. The cats are still alive, so not bad. I will give that another go. But for me, improvising is very, very important. I'm a performer at heart. I'm a giver out to you all of my art. So to suddenly not have that, at least I can have these pockets in the day where I can express myself with movement.
We've had a question actually from one of our followers. Janice has asked how you've managed to stay motivated whilst on lockdown, which is a very interesting question.
Yes. I love a daily routine. I really, really like a daily routine, and I feel better for it. I feel better when I've got up in the morning and had a really nice run. And I think it's keeping positive and staying bright. And there's always, however hard the day is or however hard you feel alone from your purpose of your job or what you're doing, there's still always moments where I'm connecting with amazing people. I'm seeing something digital online because that's what we have now that inspires me. People get inspired from maybe me posting something. So all those things. And the thought of coming back. I want to come back and give a really, really beautiful and special performance. So that definitely keeps me motivated.
One other question that's come through actually, which is sort of ties into this about the motivation, is around one of our supporters saying that she's been watching your classes, loving how you've adapted your restrictions in the environment that you've got, and she would like to ask what you're missing the most during this time.
Oh my goodness, how long have we got? And the team, my fellow dancers, if we're talking kind of work related, then it's my dance partner. We were so close to opening with Swan Lake, where I had developed this, this connection with, it was my fellow principal Andrew Peasgood, and then it kind of be working on it each day, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, can we pick up on that, or where will that go? So moments like that in the studio with my partners and my 42 other dancers who share this love and passion, and performing, just the idea of hearing live music and touring, being in the theatres, seeing different people, inspiring different audiences.
And I guess on the flip side of that, I mean, you've obviously now had 10, 11 weeks of being at home. I think the dancers went on lockdown before the country went on lockdown around about the 16th of March. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
So that's about 3 months. You've done a couple of weeks more than we have. During this time, has there been anything that you've enjoyed actually while you've been at home?
At first, I tried to recreate my working day at home, which is just not sustainable.
Yeah.
But that's because that's how I'm driven. That's how I work. And through that, kind of each week, things would maybe slip and adapt to actually, I've got another half an hour to do that reading, or I'm learning sign language. And that's something which I've wanted to do for so long, and people right now love reaching out and connecting with everyone. So I started doing FaceTime lessons, and that's just been lovely. So things like that has given me more time, and I get to have my lunch with my husband, which is the most rarest occasion ever. So that's things like that are nice.
So all the touring that you were once doing, so normally the Scottish Ballet is on tour 6 months of the year, effectively.
Yeah.
So suddenly you have all this extra time to spend with your husband.
Yeah.
And you got married not that long ago, so I suppose that's a really lovely opportunity.
And also the one room has been painted, the kitchen worktops have been revarnished. I mean, the amount of, I'm sure everyone has been doing their own DIY adventures. I am the same. So yes, finding new adventures there.
Have you made a list, either actually written it down or just in your head, about things that you would like to do once this is over? And I know there's a kind of a phased approach to this being over, but is there anything that you're really missing that you're desperate to do again that's maybe not to do with ballet?
Mm-hmm. Seeing my family.
Yeah.
So the moments of them coming up would be maybe around a performance, around a debut, so things like that. I can't walk thousands and thousands of miles down to Devon and wave from the window. I would if I could. So things like that. But we also have always done FaceTime, so that's nothing new there. Going out for dinner in restaurants and also seeing shows, seeing films, things like that.
Do you have a favourite place in Glasgow that you like to go for dinner when you go out?
Oh goodness, there's many places. Right now, with the sun being so lovely, I think it's anywhere with a gorgeous garden where you could sit outside and enjoy the weather.
And so you mentioned that you have been enjoying some other bits and pieces online that you've been watching to get a little bit of inspiration for yourself. Is there anything in particular that's really touched you while you've been at home that you've been watching regular that you might want to recommend to others, or just that you've enjoyed personally?
I absolutely loved some of the work that our choreographic dancers have been putting out there, and the fact that I work with these incredible artists every day in the studio, and then all of a sudden they've created these amazing pieces they put online. I mean, Constant Vigier did one, Jamil Lawrence, Nick Shoesmith. I mean, there's just so many where they've been so adventurous.
Yeah.
So definitely my fellow colleagues of what they've been doing, and I've been watching them, and also seeing them taking up new things, gardening, baking, getting new pets, has all been really, really nice. And they've kind of experienced the same with me, with my doing my classes, my sign languages, my cooking, all those things. So we've been helping each other.
And I suppose you've learned, you were talking earlier about the other skills that you've learned, and you've started taking, since the lockdowns happened, the online family barre class every Friday. And we should really mention that, because we've had such amazing response, so many live viewers, which has been tremendous. How has that been for you? Because I know you've taught classes and things before, but this is obviously your first time doing this online.
So how it started in the beginning was Scottish Ballet run their classes anyway, every week. So they still wanted to be able to deliver that out to our, we call it our Scottish Ballet extended family. And I have always loved doing, when we do the inclusive performances, coming on maybe in the wee Cinderellas, the Nutcrackers, things like that, and just connecting with the public and giving them a little bit of flavour of what it's like to dance. And then they said, why don't we start your class on a Friday, and we can develop it for a family barre. And the first one, I did think, how can I make this adaptable for a 3-year-old up to a 103-year-old? But actually what I found is that anyone can actually dance anything, because you can do things sat down. Just listening to the music and closing your eyes and imagining is still giving you that that inspiration of what it's like when we're performing, of mentally it can change your mood. You're being transfixed for half an hour to go somewhere else, telling stories. I mean, the little children, they absolutely love it. They've been dressing up and all sorts. And then I have lovely messages from older dancers who maybe used to dance and then didn't, and now they've refound their love again, and people who just love the stretches. So it's just been so lovely. And for me, where I'm not performing and giving you all the love on stage, I'm still doing it from my living room on my floor.
We've just had actually somebody write through to say that they've started to do ballet classes for the first time in their life, and it's so liberating. So that's really lovely to hear.
There we go. Wonderful.
Got some more questions that are coming in thick and fast from our audience, and one is when the company do go on tour, so take yourself back to our 2 days of the Snow Queen, the last time we were on tour. Where do the company stay, and how do you get from venue to venue? Right,
so we go to venue on our tour bus, which sounds extremely glamorous, I know. It's actually very fun because everyone has their own seats of where they go. On the way back, it's a lot more noisier, let me tell you that. Because we leave after the show on Saturday night, so curtain down maybe 10. We're on the tour bus back at 10:30, and there's kind of groups. Sometimes you have the younger groups that still want to have a little bit of listen to music at the back, filters through to the front, you have the people sleeping, all those things. And that's how we've done it. Obviously, when we go internationally, we do our flights, and everyone always can tell when a dancer's sat in their flights, because we put our legs up like that in the seats in front, draining. I want to be able to do a grand battement when I get to China, America, all those places. So yeah, we take our flights when we do that. And when we stay in either apartments or hotels when we're there.
And so another interesting question is somebody is asking, Catherine Monroe is asking, do you think you'll be more nervous being back on stage after a long break?
Thank you, Catherine. I don't know yet. I just know I'll feel very emotional. There'll be lots and lots of different emotions going on. So there will be nerves, there's always nerves, but definitely passion and emotion to step back on there and perform. I mean, even when I talk about it now, my hairs go off my arms. I can't wait. So lots of added extras.
And somebody else, Janice, has asked, how long, once the company is back together taking class in the studio, will it take you to get back to performance level? And that's an interesting question, actually.
Yeah, and I wish I had an exact date. This has never happened before, where you had a huge group of dancers, and this just isn't ours. I mean, our director is in talks every week with the Royal Ballet, with Birmingham Royal Ballet, with Northern Ballet, with Ballet Rambert, with Matthew Bourne's company, because this is an unknown territory for us. And rushing something is not the way to do it, because we want to still perform at the best and be at our peak performance. So we're hoping it's not going to take too long, And I think muscle memory is something as well once we get back. So I think we'll take it all from our physios and keep that communication and generally see what phases happen with the lockdown, how more we can do, and really work it along that.
I think one of the things I know that we've been talking about at Scottish Ballet is that although theatres might decide on a certain date that they want to open again, if, for example, that was, I don't know, for example, 1st of October, it would then mean that you would need at least a couple of months to get into, to be able to perform at capacity, at the best you can do.
Yeah.
So we have to take that into account when when theatres are saying they're opening, we then have to have time back from that to be ready.
Also, it's partnering. I'm sure many of you have been to many of our ballets where there aren't moments where we're not connected with another dancer. So I did think in my head today about, could I do Nutcracker on my own without my partner? And I think I might be able to. We won't tell him that, but some of the lifts might be a bit tricky. But, you know, I've got 2 cats, I can just sort of get them involved.
Get your husband involved, surely he can help.
Yes, so there we go.
Actually, Agnes Ness, hello Agnes, has asked if you are able to rehearse digitally with Andy or any of the other dancers.
We actually have been doing some digital work. We had 1 week where we all worked together and created a piece, which will be coming out at some point in the next few months, so do keep an eye on that. That was a very new experience, because also when I'm going my left and right, you're looking at it opposite. So when you're trying to choreograph or perform something with the other person looking at you, you do have to adapt even those things. So it was definitely a learning point for all of us, but we did manage to create something. And when we are back to the studio, we won't all be back together. So we will have to keep this. Some will be doing class back at base, some will still be in their kitchens, living rooms, bathrooms.
From Ian, hello Ian and Fiona. Does today's easing of lockdown change anything for you? So Nicola Sturgeon today has announced that we can start to sunbathe, which is great news.
Yes.
Good. Anything that you're aware of that will make life a little bit easier for Scottish Ballet dancers?
I think that we can exercise more, so we're allowed out more. So some days, you know, if when we were only allowed to go once, I'd have to do a really, really long run. And now I can do it in stages. So things like that have definitely made it easier, and the possibility of, you know, we're all in different pockets, West End, South Side. So maybe a joining of in a park somewhere to be able to see our friends and things like that. And I'm sure people who have their family close and things like that. But for us, exercising more, we can get out more.
John has asked, I know my diet has gone out the window during this lockdown. How's yours going?
Hi, John. In the beginning, when we knew it wasn't going to be a 1 week thing and back, that's the time you really have to think about it. And I just made absolutely no difference at all to my diet. So I still make my lunch each day that I'd make at work. And just, I wanted as minimal changes to when I can get back to the studio. My weekends are still the same. I make lovely roasts, I have my ice cream, I make cakes, lovely brunches. So all those things I still enjoy, but because I'm still working in the week, I still need my body to be my engine and my fuel. So I guess that's kept me going, definitely.
Caroline is asking, what is Scottish Ballet's equivalent of the virtual quiz or a virtual cocktail night on a Friday? Do you have...
Oh, well, it's not on a Friday. Ours is on Wednesdays, and we have dress-up class. So, as you can imagine, though, there's not many people have a dress-up box just at home. So we've adapted to all sorts. And 1 week we had Netflix series, and I chose The Crown, and I actually got out all my wedding things. I had my fur on, I had my tiara, and I just had the best class. And I thought, why don't I dress up more anyway? We had a Disney theme where we had a lot of cats and people as Lion King and things like that, because it's just finding things. But we have a summer one on Friday, so we're going to try and do lots of different colours for that one.
Brilliant. Alice is asking, have you read any books or watched any films during the lockdown that you'd like to recommend to people that are listening?
So I watched this amazing documentary, and I wouldn't normally watch basketball documentary, but it's called The Last Dance on Netflix, and it was like the kind of stories of basketball players. And do tell me if any of you have watched it. And so many things were so similar, kind of how they're driven and getting over failures and injuries and things. So I really enjoyed that, and I just love Agatha Christie. So I'm reading her books, her audio books, all day long.
Brilliant.
Someone did see The Last Dance.
Last Dance. Mandy is asking, have you managed to get into any open, quiet spaces to run and jump?
Well, if you'd like to come down to the tall ship every morning around 7 a.m, you will see a few grangettes. And yes, so those moments I have been able to, but I did think, my goodness, at some points in the park I could just start dancing and people might enjoy it. But I do have my Friday classes where I can give out to all the communities. But yes, the really nice stretch down the Clyde where it's tarmac and it's flat, and I have my trainers on, and yeah, I give it a good go there.
Now we have Alice, age 7, asking, Beth, what is it like to be a ballet dancer?
Hello, Alice, age 7, a great age. It's everything that you see from a performer on stage. It's the sparkling tutus, the spotlights, the beautiful music, and then you have the other side, which is the hard work and the dedication. The enjoyment of the performances outweighs absolutely everything, and the feeling that you get when you're taking your curtain call and you have the audience clapping and your team of dancers with you in a performance is very, very special.
Agnes is asking, have you any fears about getting back into your daily routine when lockdown is over?
I think it's not really a fear, it's more of an unknown of getting back into the studio. I've also been working without a mirror. So we say this thing that everyone can balance, say maybe on one leg, but it's balancing correctly is the hard thing. So just something so simple like that. When I'm balancing in class, I always need the eye, maybe of our ballet masters to be saying, oh, pull this up. So things like that, I could be picking up almost habits like that now. For 10 weeks we've been working without seeing myself. So that might be the first bit, and we're looking at maybe having to work with masks on and things like that. So that's definitely going to change. That the one positive about that, we might get our stamina back quicker because you're taking in less air. So you have to look at the bright side.
Ian is asking, what's your favourite international venue and why? So obviously Scottish Ballet tours internationally, usually every couple of years, normally China or East Asia and America. Have you got a favourite venue that you've been to?
Oh, I have so many. One that you didn't mention actually was Russia. We performed at the Mariinsky Theatre, and I remember having all the Russian ballerinas came to see us, and they're so tall and they have beautiful furs on, a bit like me in The Crown in my Netflix class. But there was something so lovely about it, like the kind of collaboration of seeing, as British ballerinas with them. It was really, really nice. And the iconic stage it's stunning. It goes so far back and it's this kind of light green and gold. But then backstage, full of cockroaches. I can tell you that. Yeah. But when you get two forms of art kind of colliding like that in a theatre, it's a lovely moment. And Royal Opera House Beijing, the Royal Opera House London, that was my home when I was a student, all those places.
Because you appeared there as a student and
yes,
then
many times.
in The Fairy's Kiss.
Yes, yeah. So that was really lovely to be back, and I had all my, my friends there as well from London. So performing back there, but nothing beats our Theatre Royal, our Festival Theatre, our Eden Court, all our gorgeous theatres we have.
The home crowd.
Yes, our home crowd.
Now, somebody is asking, it's anonymous, do you have social Zoom events like quizzes or cocktails with the other dancers?
So we have different groups. So the girls of the company have a group called Girl Power, which we kind of check in, see how we're all doing. And then after our ballet class, normally we'd all go back to the changing room and have a natter. We've only had 15 minutes normally in our break. So after class, one of the girls will just do an invite on Zoom on our chat, and people will join in as we're calling down and just having a little chit chat. So things like that. I have no idea what the guys have been doing. Maybe they've been doing something, poker nights or something. I don't know. But yeah, we have lots of group chats where we all check in with each other.
John is asking, if you were to choose your most favourite role to dance, what would it be?
Right now I'd choose any. But I think it's story ballets where you can just absolutely indulge in telling a story and letting your emotions go, as well as dancing a gorgeous art form. So Juliet, Gerda in Snow Queen had a gorgeous story, the Snow Queen, Cinderella, so all those roles, and you've got Swan Lake, so yeah, story ballets.
Rachel, who is 13, is asking, were you trained before you became part of a professional company?
Was I training?
Where did you train?
Oh. Hi, Rachel. I trained at the Royal Ballet School, so I left at age 11, my home in Devon, and I trained there for 8 years before coming to be a professional dancer for Scottish Ballet.
So Scottish Ballet was your first professional contract, wasn't it?
It was my first professional contract, and 13 years later.
Still here?
Yeah.
That's very lucky for us, though. And Alice is asking, what is it like working at Scottish Ballet, as she wants to join the associate programme when she's old enough?
Oh, hi, Alice. Oh, I love seeing the associates at the weekend. It's so nice for us. There's a little crossover from when we're in the big studio and the kind of associates come up to use the other two studios, and we all kind of have a little wave. And what's nice about the Associate Scottish Ballet is they work with us at Christmas seasons. So they have opportunities to come and be the mice or the children, or roles that require children in the ballet. So that's really, really nice. And they come on tour with us. So that's something really special.
You'd recommend Scottish Ballet as a company to young dancers?
Oh, definitely, because you're not trying to have a company of over 100 dancers. We're a company that can tour so easily, and of the opportunities, maybe instead of just doing one Sugar Plum performance, I get to do 12 or 20. Those types of things. We're more connected with our audiences because we're a tight-knit group, and we can spread into the community.
I have a couple more questions to ask you. Let me just see here. Rachel is asking, what do you do to pass the time other than ballet? And I guess that's pre-lockdown as well as current situation. So
I absolutely love cooking. I don't know how great I am, but I do love cooking. So I have taken it on myself that each weekend I kind of plan something different. So making Indian from scratch is very, very difficult, but I even went as far as the naan bread. So things like that. I enjoy searching for different recipes, doing roasts, things like that. And then also different types of training. So because we've been taken out of the gym and we don't have all the facilities, things that I can also do, whether it's stair running or making up my own HIIT training sessions, using 5 exercises. So things like that I've been enjoying doing.
And an anonymous guest has said, what would Bethany like to do when she eventually retires in years to come?
I don't know yet, but I know that there is a lot of things which I would like to do. It's just, yeah, finding that one thing, I think, or maybe I will be someone that will just carry on and have many different roles. I'm sure there will be a role for me in the arts world that I can carry on inspiring and nurturing dancers.
You've got lots more years ahead of you yet, though, with us, though, hopefully. What's the best and worst thing about being a ballet dancer? Asked Kai.
Okay. The worst thing is when you get injured, and you're never prepared for it, because an injury can come out of the blue and it's a shock. So learning to adapt quickly, and you might be working for a very long time on something and you can't do it, and you have to rehab your body back. But on the flip side, my goodness, you learn so much from that time when all of a sudden you are injured and you have to start from scratch again and rebuild your strength. So that's another side of that. And there are lots and lots of best moments and best sides, but being able to move and express yourself in this art form is something that I do not say lightly. It really is something that's one of the best moments.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Beth. I think we've had lots of great insight into what life is like for you at the moment, and what it's been like, and what it will be like again in hopefully the not too distant future.
Yes.
If anybody has any other questions, I think we could probably take a couple more if anybody has time and hasn't yet submitted a question. I guess the other thing I should probably mention, it would be remiss of me as a fundraiser not to mention the fact that we've just launched our Back to the Bar appeal, which Beth very kindly helped us launch with a live description of what it was like for her working at home. So thank you to those of you who have already donated, and if you would like to, you can check our website on the individual giving page. It's Back to the Bar appeal, and we're hoping to buy the dancers additional equipment like a proper portable ballet bar, as well as maybe weights for the male dancers and additional equipment and expertise. I've just had a couple of comments here just to say, I just want to say, Beth, it is an amazing asset to Scottish Ballet, and we love watching you dance.
Thank you.
And that you are now an honorary Scot as well.
Oh, thank you very, very much.
So a lovely comment there to end the session with you, Beth. But thank you so much for giving up your time in this gorgeous sunny afternoon.
Thank you.
You're going to get outside now.
I hope, you know, we can maybe do one of these again, and I know there's been some questions from the younger dancers as well, so please have a think, if there's something that we also can be helping you with during this time to keep motivated, to keep this connection that we have, not in our theatres and our.
And anybody here that has social media can follow Beth on your Instagram page and Facebook, Twitter.
Yes, please do. And you can see my Tonja exercises in my living room, and my cats always, my cats have done better than me this lockdown. They've been in 2 papers already. Yeah, so I was going to do some signed prints and just get their paw, but I didn't go that far.
And also watch you 11:30 on Friday for your family bar.
Yes, this week we are doing Cinderella meets the Prince at the ball, so I will see you there.
Lovely. Beth, thank you so much, and thank you to all of you for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you very, very soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.